So we're here today with co-founder Mary Miller from Ching Systems. And Mary, one of the first questions that people tend to ask is, what is Ching Systems? Give us a brief summary.
In a brief summary, Ching Systems is an education and research company, and our goal has been to develop technologies to help restore emotional balance. We believe that living in balance, at your perfect balance point, is really the most positive place a person can possibly live their lives from. And what our goal is with these instruments is to build a technology that will restore balance within 15 minutes. Now this is an example of it. Person is out of balance, meaning that you feel upset, hurt, angry. You put this card on, and in 15 minutes, you should feel stable and back in balance. And that's the idea behind the instruments.
So they just wear the instrument?
Well, some of them you wear, some of them you hold, like this little card you hold in your hand when you're out of balance. They come in different shapes and forms, essentially.
Okay. And why Ching? Why did you use that name?
Well, we use the name Ching because our symbols all have these little binary math codes on them, open gates and closed gates. The original binary math codes come from thousands of years ago from the Chinese Book of Changes. 64 six-line drawings, and we're still using those 64 six-line drawings today in the 64 bits in our computer, but from thousands of years ago. And the instruments work on the electrical system, meaning that they restore our gates to their proper position, closed gates and open gates to their proper position.
And what does that mean exactly?
Well, think about it this way. If you had a pain in your back and you went to an acupuncturist, your acupuncturist would work on your electrical system. And the way that that would work is that you might have closed gates where you should have open gates, so it's building up pain in your back. You get a treatment with little tiny needles at these electrical junction points that restore balance, the gates to their proper position. Closed gates may be open and open gates may be closed, but what happens is the energy moves again through your system, and often the pain goes away without a medication because you've restored the system electrically. We're using exactly that same principle on the emotional system, because when we get out of balance, we're simply out of balance electrically. It doesn't matter what the reason is. It's an electrical problem. So what the instruments are designed to do is to restore gates from a closed position to an open position, and vice versa. Now, when I say binary math codes, I mean like ones and zeros, and all the digital technology we have today runs on those binary math codes.
So when you describe our system as an electrical system, what exactly do you mean?
I mean that life force is flowing through our systems. Now, most people, especially in industrial societies, are probably walking around out of balance more often than in balance. We're just used to being out of balance, meaning that the energy is flowing through our system in a way that is not natural, but it is normal for us. Often based on some things, and many things perhaps, that happened to us when we were kids that threw us into survival. So let's say you grow up in a family with parents that don't really have the energy to take care of kids. So you try to please your parents to make them happy. That throws you into a survival mode. You go to school and you sit in a chair and are treated like a mass society. Class stand, class sit, class open your books, class close your books. And there's no attention given to the individual needs of a child. So after a while, kids have to adapt into survival. Anything below an A registers as a failure in a child. So you have a kid building up a survival system to work your way through school. Now those survival systems don't disappear because we grow up and we leave our parents, or because we graduate from school. Those survival systems remain intact, only we're so used to them, we don't realize that they're not our natural balance point.
And so these instruments can now help a child who's been through the school system?
These instruments are designed to help people find their perfect balance point. In other words, when a person uses this technology, the goal is for these instruments to restore the electrical system to its natural, perfect balance point. And after a while, we begin to live more often at our natural balance point, and actually seek that more often once we get used to what that feels like.
So can anybody use these instruments?
They can. Anyone of any age can use them. We have little children that use them. I have wonderful families that keep these cards, for instance, on the doorknob. And when these little 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds and 6 and 7-year-olds get out of balance, they go over and get the card. I had someone call me, put it on for 15 minutes. I had someone call me the other day, and she said that this was a mom, and she said she was very tired. She came home really stressed out, and her 4-year-old walked over to the door, got the card, and says, "Here, Mom, you need to put your card on." So the idea is teaching people really to seek balance and not to have to work so hard and so long to achieve it. You could go to therapy probably for 20 years, and it would be pretty difficult to find that perfect balance point even after 20 years. And this is to restore the system and really train the system to go to balance.